Right now, 7 U.S. states and 40 million people are fighting over a resource that is vanishing before their eyes. This isn't a prediction, it's a reality. We are living through the worst megadrought in the American West in at least 200 years, according to a seminal 2022 study published in the journal Nature Climate Change. This is the prelude to a water war. Today, we're going on a data-driven tour of the crisis, naming names, citing studies, and most importantly, giving you a real-world action plan. Let's dive in. As of this recording, Lake Mead, the nation's largest reservoir, is at just 35% of its capacity. Lake Powell is at 33%. These aren't just numbers. At Lake Mead, this has exposed intake valves that were built in the 1970s and have never been seen before. How did we get here? The science points to two undeniable factors. Climate change. A 2020 study from the U.S. Geological Survey found that over 40% of the severity of this drought is directly attributable to human-caused climate change. Higher temperatures mean less snowpack our natural frozen reservoir and more evaporation from our soils and lakes. The Colorado River's flow has declined by nearly 20% since the year 2000. Chronic overuse. The legal framework governing this water, the Colorado River Compact of 1922, was negotiated during the wettest period in the last 500 years. We've been allocating water based on a historical anomaly. We are trying to divide a pie that no longer exists. This physical scarcity is triggering a legal and political crisis. The wars are already here. The first front, agriculture versus cities. To understand the scale, consider this. It takes 74 gallons of water to produce 1 ounce of beef in this region, according to the Pacific Institute. A single field of alfalfa, a thirsty crop often grown for animal feed, can use over 800 gallons of water per acre each year. When a city like Las Vegas, which has spent $1.5 billion on a low-water intake valve and recycling 99% of its indoor water, is asked to cut back, it rightly looks at agricultural use. The second front, state versus state. The law of the river is based on seniority, not logic. This has created a standoff. In 2022, the Federal Bureau of Reclamation gave the 7 basin states an ultimatum. Cut 2 to 4 million acre-feet of use, a staggering 30% of the river's current flow, or we will do it for you. They missed the deadline. And critically, tribal nations versus the system. The 22 federally recognized tribes in the basin have legal rights to about 20% of the river's water, but many lack the infrastructure to use it. A 2021 report from the Water WT Tribes Initiative highlights how these communities have been systematically excluded from negotiations for a century, despite holding some of the most senior rights. Data got us into this mess. And data-driven action is the only way out. Here's what you can do, based on what actually works. First, know your number. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency estimates the average American family uses 300 gallons of water per day. A leaky toilet can waste 200 gallons a day alone. That's like flushing your future down the drain. Action 1. Find your water meter. Read it. Don't use any water for 2 hours. Read it again. If it moved, you have a leak. Action 2. Replace one old appliance with a WaterSense labeled model. A certified showerhead can save 700 gallons per year. Action 3. If you have a lawn, contact your local water utility. Most offer cash rebates for every square foot of grass you replace with drought-tolerant landscaping. This isn't a sacrifice. It's a smart financial and environmental move. Your voice matters most locally. Action 1. Google your city plus water conservation ordinance. See what your city is doing. Then, attend a water board or city council meeting and voice support for strong conservation measures and investment in recycling. Action 2. Support local water markets. In states like Colorado, programs like the Colorado Water Trust allow cities to pay farmers to temporarily fallow fields and leave the water in the river. It's a market-based solution that works. Finally, we need systemic change. Support data-driven policy. Advocate for leaders who support modernizing the 1922 Compact. We need management based on current hydrology, not century-old fantasies. Demand investment. The bipartisan infrastructure law allocated $8.3 billion for water infrastructure. Hold your representatives accountable to ensure that money is spent on water recycling, aquifer recharge, and fixing crumbling pipes that lose billions of gallons a year. Advocate for tribal inclusion. Support policies that finally bring tribal nations to the negotiating table with full voting power and funding to build the infrastructure they need to use their rights. The data is clear. The crisis is here, but so are the solutions. This is our call to action. Not to panic, but to participate. To be smarter users, more vocal citizens, and to demand a system built for the 21st century. What's the water situation like in your state? Let me know in the comments with data if you have it. Hit subscribe because next week, we're analyzing the terrifying financial data behind the next housing market crash.